know I'm not alone when I say beans, they deserve some main character energy. They're high in protein, high in fiber, and while they absorb mad flavor, they only cost about $1. Today, we're making a smoky chipotle red beans and kale dish that has more depth of flavor than meals that take twice as long to make. Slow cooked aromatics, rich smoky broth, and tender kale woven all the way through this dish. This is pantry cooking at its finest. So let's talk about what you're gonna need. Celery, carrots, onion, garlic, kale, kidney beans, chipotle peppers in adobo sauce, vegetable stock, soy sauce, and some spices. We're starting with our celery, 2 stalks, and we're going to dice these nice and small. Here's exactly how I get a small dice out of celery without taking forever. First, cut the stalk into thirds. Take one of the thirds and slice it lengthwise into quarters. So you have 4 long strips. Then just dice across the 4 strips all at once. That's your small dice. Consistent size, quick cut, and done. Next up are carrots. Same goal, small dice. We want all our vegetables to be roughly the same size so they cook evenly and complement the beans rather than compete with the texture. Next up is our onion. Again, small dice and set aside. And finally our garlic. Going with just about 5 cloves here. Finely minced, and with the onion together, this is going to form our aromatic base. In most of my recipes, this combination is doing a lot of the heavy lifting. For the kale, I picked up a pre-chopped bag, which means I can just measure it out and set aside for when it's ready to go. In a future video, we're gonna talk about how to massage kale and the benefits of that. But for this video, we're actually going to let the heat break the kale down. So let's not worry about it for now, but I can't wait to tell you in a future one. So let's get out a small bowl and build our spice mixture, starting with smoked paprika, oregano, thyme, chili powder, garlic powder, and finally some black pepper. Give that a good whisk if you can, and set it aside. All right, we're gonna need a large skillet here, something that has some pretty tall walls. We're gonna add a bit of olive oil and turn our oven to medium heat. With our oil hot, we're gonna add in our onions, our carrots, and our celery. Cook these for about 5 to 7 minutes, stirring occasionally until softened and translucent. You want these to be genuinely soft, not just warm. This is the foundation, and it needs time. Now add in your minced garlic and stir for just about 30 seconds to a minute until fragrant. From here, we're adding in our spice blend, our kale, and our chipotle pepper in adobo, which I forgot to chop up, so I did it on the side prior to adding it in. Take your time here. We're blooming the spices and wilting the kale slightly before moving on. This step should take you just about a minute while stirring consistently. Chipotle peppers in adobo are basically jalapenos that have been smoked, then packed in sauce that has tomatoes, vinegar, and spices. And it's so good. What they bring to a dish is like this layered hit that's like a little smoky, a little spicy, a little tangy, with a deep, savory richness you just can't replicate any other way. So anyway, a little bit goes a long way. So start small because you could always add, and make sure you use them. Don't waste it. Blooming just means we're letting the spices hit the hot oil directly for a moment before the liquid goes in. It wakes up all those fat-soluble flavor compounds in the spices and takes them from flat to bold. You will literally smell the difference immediately. It goes from like this spice cabinet smell to smelling like an actual restaurant. Okay, add in your kidney beans and give everything a good stir to incorporate. Then pour in your vegetable stock. Use your spatula to scrape the bottom of the skillet as the stock goes in. That deglazes everything and pulls all the toasted bits back into the broth. And as always, that's that flavor you don't want to leave behind. Stir to make sure everything is well combined. Then reduce to medium-low heat and let it simmer for 20 to 25 minutes, stirring occasionally. Here's what's happening in the pot during those 20 to 25 minutes. And this is the visual cue I want you to watch for. When this whole thing starts, the liquid itself is going to look mostly red, almost tomato sauce red from those kidney beans and chipotle pepper. And as it simmers, you're going to watch it slowly shift into a more brownish kind of color. This is the starches releasing from the beans and emulsifying the mixture. This is the same trick we did kind of recently with the butter beans, but we smashed them to kind of get more of a thicker sauce. In this case, the beans are doing the perfect amount of thickening we need. So when you see the brown, glossy, slightly thickened liquid instead of red, you know you're done. Once the simmer is done, we're finishing this with a splash of soy sauce or tamari. If you have a soy allergy, you can use coconut aminos instead. Everything we built in this dish, the smokiness, the spice, the depth from the aromatics, the soy sauce ties it all together and rounds out those edges. Just look at that color, that glossy, deep, smoky broth with kale running through it. You could serve this as is. For me, over a bed of brown rice is where it goes. High protein, high fiber, deeply satisfying, and made entirely from whole foods. Not to mention, this is under $2 per serving, so like well under. And this entire dish can be found linked in the description, or head right over to my website, makeitdairyfree.com. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate you spending your time with me. Until next time, believe in good. Peace.